Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 2 introduced us to two new Suchomimus variants, but did you know there's about 14 of them? We'll first start off with the orange one. This only appeared at the start, which fights the Stegosaurs, but then it doesn't really appear again. But the first one we saw was the grey Suchomimus. These ones were all based off snake sort of patterns. They're pretty cool. And yeah, we saw it in episode 10 of Season 1. And we saw it again in Season 2, Episode 1, just on the TV though. But then there's also a yellow Suchomimus, which appears later on. This one gets into a few fights, and unfortunately it does end up dying to the Majungasaurus, which is a bit weird because Majunga is meant to be smaller than it, and I don't think it should have been it, but it did anyway. But then, you've probably never seen this one, but we have a multicolor Suchomimus. How cool is that? Based off a newt sort of lizard. I think it's really cool. Yeah, it's got all that red and blue sort of galaxy kind of colors. And then on the topic of the multicolored Suchomimus, we also have the dark multicolored Suchomimus, which I believe is probably the female version of the other one. So the more vibrant ones often are the male ones, and the less vibrant ones out of nature are the female ones. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool that we've got this. And these are just the start of a full list of Suchomimuses. I'm really impressed, and yeah, credit goes to Chris Sears, who's making all of these, and you can find them up on his Instagram or ArtStation. They've got some pretty cool stuff up on ArtStation, and I want to talk more about that tomorrow. But yeah, these Suchomimuses, they look really cool, and it looks like with some of them they were going for a white eye, so I don't know if they wanted a blind creature like the Allosaurus. But then I'm guessing, you know, they realized too many creatures are missing eyes. You have the Baryonyx, you have the Allo. Probably best to not give it to the Sucho as well. So we also have the Goanna Suchomimus, or at least one of them, because there's a male and female variant of everything. And if not, then there's a bonus variant as well, such as, you know, the grey Suchomimus, that's probably female. The orange one, that's a male, and then yellow one, I assume, is a variation of the male. But the Goanna Suchomimus, what is it? Well, it's a based off of Goanna, basically. And then there's also a more sort of yellow version of the Goanna Suchomimus. They have some interesting designs. You can see they've really got a green and kind of yellow feel to them. I believe what the male one is probably more yellowy and more green, and then the female one is probably the darker greens with the sort of dark beige yellow underbelly. I'm guessing it's really interesting. I'm glad they went with the Suchos that they did, but these ones are still pretty cool. I really like the multicolor ones though. However, we also have the snake Suchomimus. So these ones are going to be very similar to the Suchos we did get, but they're a bit more of a lower quality version, I would say. They don't look as finished. They don't have the patterning or detail. They kind of have stripes running through them, but they're still really cool nonetheless. So obviously we have this orange one here. I'm going to guess this is the male, just considering the other one of the snake is probably male. And then this one here, the sort of grey beige one, is, I'm guessing, the female, just because, you know, the more vibrant ones of the actual Suchomimuses we got were the orange and yellow ones compared to the grey one. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that the orange/yellow one of these snake-based Suchomimuses is the male, and the more grey or beige looking one is the female. But we also have lizard-based Suchomimuses, more of them. So this first one has a yellow pattern. There's two once again, but it's mostly more grey all over, and then around its neck it's got yellow, and then on its tail it's got yellow, and it's separated a tiny bit by grey, but it is mostly just yellow. But yeah, besides that, it's mostly all just grey. It's kind of a bland design, but these are all based off real creatures, so it's kind of cool to see. But then yeah, we do have, I assume, the male. I'm just going to guess it's the male because it has a bit more coloring to it. So obviously it's got colors in the same places, so orange around the neck, orange on the tail, but it's also got an addition of white on the tail. It has a really dark grey to it as well, but it seems way more saturated than the other one. So I am going to go out on a limb once again and say that the orange neck one is the male, and the yellow-necked one is the female. We also do have the skink Suchomimus. So these ones are pretty interesting. There is 3 of them. The third one's really cool, so stick around. But the first one up that we have is, I don't know, just they're all kind of green colors, but we'll go with the lesser saturated green, and they get really, really saturated. But yeah, the first one is less saturated, I guess, with, you know, kind of olive greens, dark green on the top, whatnot. But then the next one, it saturates it up a bit, and it looks very similar to the first one, but, you know, it's green underbelly, kind of sticks out a bit more, and you can see some orange on its leg. And then the dark green is also more saturated on the top. And I think it's really cool. So obviously these two are meant to be together, or maybe there's 2 female variations for this one, and these 2 are the females, because this next one, this green Suchomimus that's part of that skink variations as well, is just amazing. It's so vibrant, so saturated. I am in love with this one. Besides the ones that we got, I'd say my favorite ones are probably gonna have to be this green, very green saturated one, and the very saturated multicolor blue and red one. It's just so awesome, honestly. And like, yeah, have a look at that. You compare it to the other 2, and yeah, I'd definitely say this really saturated green one is the male, and the other 2 are probably females. So, you know, most of the others we've had, 1 female and then 2 males, but this one I'm gonna guess we have 2 female variants and then 1 male variant. Maybe the lizards are different. There's more female lizards and less male lizards, and then there's more male snakes and less female snakes. I don't know. But anyway, hippopotamus models were also revealed along with the other animals that were in here. So I figured I'd go over them, just considering, you know, Sucho and Hippo got into a bit of a fight by the end, or not the end, around the middle part of Chaos Theory. And unfortunately, this Hippo does not win, but it puts up a very valiant effort. It goes, from during the day to dusk to night. And, you know, at night it is finished off by the Sucho, unfortunately. But nonetheless, it put up a good fight, and I thought it was going to win at a point. But we also have birds as well, models of them. So the chickens and the seagulls were revealed. You know, we've got a T-posing chicken. I think is pretty funny. But yeah, if you guys are like, why are you going over this? These aren't dinosaurs. Chickens are the evolved T-Rexes, all right? No, well, kind of, but like, you know, I still think it's cool. And they were in the show nonetheless. But anyway, if you want more Chaos Theory, check out the playlist up here, and I'll see you all later. Bye, everyone.